I better get busy. I think I've got 3 records I need to get up on the YouTube channel for you in case you need to go back and review.
Yep.
So I'm trying to pin it down. I think I got this idea from Dad because it came in from that side.
Mm-hmm.
And it had me map it out
Okay.
so I can grid it out to kind of figure out where she's at. Can you see it?
Okay. So, give me a reference about one that we know where it is. Oh,
Okay, so
gate. Is the gate
so
there?
I know it's kind of light, but here's the Mount Zion Church right here.
Okay, there's the church. Here's the gate. Okay.
Here's the gate.
Okay.
And I got that she is in, this is section 8 right here,
Okay.
and she's in H, box H. Because once I figured out what section she was in, then I broke down the section into further boxes to kind of get an area where she could be.
Where Isaac Helms, which is where I said she was in that line. Is that correct?
Well, that's for you to tell me because I'm just showing you where I got. I don't remember because I don't remember where they are when I walk through that gate, but I think they're all kind of right there.
Just decided to, you just laid this grid out yourself. So this did,
Yeah,
like, okay. So, all right. So lift it up higher a little bit so I can see where the gate is again. Okay.
right here.
Okay. So Henderson is,
Here's the church.
so
Here's
Henderson
the gate.
is over in about is that 3? Right between 1 and in
Down here.
like 1 and I can't see it. 1 and
Well, it's not. So 1 is over here.
no.
So,
8, I'm saying section 8, which is where you've got the small
and
grid.
then I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H,
Okay, that's what I can.
I, J, K, L.
Okay,
So
so
I'm getting, go
I
ahead.
J is where Henderson is, close to the fence. Is my
Yeah, and I got Hester in H.
okay, and Hester in H. Okay. All right. I'm gonna gate.
Now remember, I'm not so sure because I have the gate here, like
Mhm,
here to here,
mhm.
and you're saying that,
Oh, you're saying she's straight out in front of the gate. Okay, because Isaac is over closer to 9.
okay, so then this area in here would make sense where she would be
Yeah,
in your mind.
in my mind, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a nice confirmation for me. I spent an hour and a half with Matt Frazier today doing that. He didn't pick me,
Nope.
unfortunately. But it was interesting watching him because when he was fresh, he was on mark, on mark, on mark. And then toward the end, you could see he was doing this.
Mhm.
And, and he was not hitting the mark as much. So there is something to it. When you get fatigued, the accuracy rate just drops. So I just need to pay attention when I'm getting really tired and not try to answer questions
Yeah.
because it is a lot of energy flowing through.
Can you ask? Do you have your little dowsing thing? If
Yep.
you can get the name of the stone that's there that is closest to her.
All right. Can you, Dad or Henderson, can you give me a stone that is actually still up and readable that is closest to Hester Ann Helms? Go ahead and give me the name, please. It's an L. It's struggling, Susie. I think it's because, I don't know. Can you ask it a different way?
Okay, what is the last name of
Of
this?
the stone that is legible today, that is closest to Hester Ann Helms?
Yes.
E,
What was the letter?
E, E,
Okay.
O, N, I. Is it Enoch? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me then.
It could.
Okay,
E
that's what I get.
Enoch, Enoch. So it could be near Rebecca and John. There's a big tree right there.
Well, that's what I got was these roots coming in and into the casket. And I also feel that the marker, the grave marker that was there, that was cared for until he died. And then I don't think anybody bothered to come to her grave. One, I feel like when I keep asking, well, why wasn't that kept up? I feel like there's some ground movement and the stone sort of pops out. There's nobody left there to care if the stone stayed or not.
Mhm,
And it sort of crumbles, and over time it just gets knocked about.
mhm. Well, that
And
makes
just and I feel that once Henderson died, any remembrance of her as being a quote normal person died with him.
well, which kind of makes sense because I think they were not here long before she was shuttled aside. I think probably Perry's birth was the last thing, and that was in 25.
Oh, okay. So Hester is here. Hester's here. She says that was, I feel that that was a birth that just about done her in. That's
Mhm,
what I hear. It's a birth that about done me in. I think she could not recover from that birth.
mhm. That's my guess as well.
She needed time to recover. Her body was very depleted and she needed time to recover. But there were children to be had, taken care of. There's, just the sustaining day-to-day life was a chore,
Well, yeah,
and she could not meet his needs. That came in.
right. So that would have been May of 25 is when he was born. So it wouldn't have been too long after they were up here. I think they probably came in about 22. Um,
Hi, Susie.
who's hi Susie and me?
Dad.
Oh, hey, Dad. All right, so I think Ray or Elizabeth was born in.
He says, yes, you're hearing him right. So did you have a question about that yesterday or something, or a couple of days? Am I hearing you right? Because I hear him saying, she's hearing me right.
Ah,
So did,
well, you're asking me to remember, so um, I'm real curious to see how accurate my memory is about where Rebecca is. When did she die? That could have something to do with that would be helpful to know. Um, oh, that was 1881.
well, that wasn't the question though. So, they're giving me a stone that is legible today.
Right. No, I know that's not the question. I was just, like thinking proximity wise, time wise. Yeah. Yeah. Now it's wanting to go where it's supposed to go. Why can't I bring you back up? There we are. Okay. All right. Well, if what you're getting is right, she's closer to the road than we were thinking she was when we were there the other day.
Yeah, when I was there the other day, I was really more focused on where he was.
Um,
It's too cold to go out there today to go looking around.
yeah. So I'm still real curious about how Henderson collected the family story, how Henderson got his dad's family story.
All I hear is that I'm not completely severed from the family. He wasn't completely disconnected from them. That came in again. There's correspondence going on.
Which, okay, well, my question is, how did that connection, how was it maintained? Right? If both of his parents were dead, and if he was with this Henderson guy who supposedly didn't know a whole lot of the story.
No. That's not how I get it. So let me go back over it. This is what's coming in. Okay. It's kind of coming into a flood, so let me go with it. Yeah, and we'll see if it matches up to anything that we already have. I don't know. So let me just get out what's coming in. I get that the man that raised James P. He
Mhm.
was nearby. I feel like he's a trapper. I still feel that. That's coming in real strong again. And then as he's there, and I do feel it, and I'm feeling like I need to hit home. He had a crush on the mother, on
Mhm.
his mother. And you sensed that before I did, and I can validate that for you from my perspective.
Mhm.
Um, he's there. He knows the family. There is knowledge of the family. Um, he does raise him. He does try to get James P. to meet with these other family members. James P. did Hawk in the early years of his family, those things. He did know these things. It wasn't till later in life. It was this progression of disease, Dad says. It's a progression of the disease that James P. had. And he goes, and I'm getting from Dad, it's like a disease of the soul. So he's showing me Fred. Okay. Fred might have been fun and adventurous and stuff early on, but the alcohol just progressed over time. And that's eventually it took out James P. Although I must say, I do feel he was helped along. He was already declining and probably wasn't going to last long anyway, because I feel the breakdown in like the liver area.
Mhm.
So there were connections, and there was correspondence, and it was important. It's always been important to me to preserve my family history. This is why his children are named not after James P. per se, but more after his grandfather and great grandfather. And you'll find some of the family names um, that kind of tread down forward. And it is from that family that was killed. So there is correspondence going on with um, uncles or great uncles or cousins, or it's like there's this so I'm feeling like a it's like this, Susie. I know, it's like I feel like mom playing with a picture. I feel I'm clairsentient, so therefore I'm feeling it in rhythm.
Mhm.
So it's not like my direct line, but like I got over and up one, over and up one. And
Mhm.
so he's getting information from other family members. He's in contact with those family members, and he is very proud of those family members. And okay, okay, slow it down. So it's almost as if the worse that James P. got, the more Henderson wanted to know about his family, because he's almost trying to balance us out. I've got this one bad apple, but look over here, people. You see,
Mhm.
I have good family members. I have good stock.
Yeah, that's interesting. When his passion is his husbandry.
Breeding out the bad.
Oh, yeah,
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 in the genetic line.
yeah. Interesting. That gave me goosebumps, Susie.
Mhm. Mhm.
I wonder if there's,
If James P. had any,
connection with the people in
South
South.
Carolina.
I don't have him on deck. I have Hester and I have Henderson and I have Dad.
Right. Well, would Henderson know? I mean, those would be some of the people he might be.
Henderson, are you connecting to your family members in South Carolina? Yes. And Susie, that's a big yes.
Um, did the Welchels have something
To do with maintaining that connection.
Henderson, did the Welchels have anything to do with maintaining the connection to your South Carolina relatives? So no.
Okay.
Oh,
What?
Esther's showing me what she looked like in her youth. She was such a pretty girl.
Oh, good. That's what I've written her. Describe her to me.
I feel her hair was either a very light brown or blonde, but it was very silky. She was very proud of her hair because the thing of it, why she's showing me that, it contrasted so differently at
To,
the end of her life.
yeah.
Blue eyes. I almost see a bit of a rounded face. Um, her skin coloring, I mean, it's very, you think of young girls with acne, it's like there's no acne. I mean, it's just so pure and pretty. She's petite. Just very pretty. I almost feel like when she was younger there was more blonde hair there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you saw her too? Yes, and she's showing me what she looked like at the end. She had lost her teeth. At the very end, she didn't have that many teeth. She was very ashamed, but I feel like she's doing this a lot.
Hardly anybody had any teeth by the end
Yeah,
then.
but with her, I think hers got knocked out.
Oh. Hmm.
But she's doing this, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
She's so aware of how she looks. Okay, she has no use of her right arm. She can use the brush. So she's showing me that she was always so proud of her hair,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so silky. And he always commented about how silky and beautiful her hair was. And he blamed her for how her hair began to look. But I think with every child she had, it got, you know what I'm saying? Look at me, because I'm giving you what she's showing me.
Mm-hmm. It's getting brittle and
Bushy,
flowery and
bushy, hard to comb out.
yeah.
Tom Zen hair. Dad says Tom Zen hair.
On my hair without being dried. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And of course, she can't put it up because she doesn't have use of both arms. So, she tries to bring it around, but it's so bushy.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, and everybody thought I was crazy. Oh my God, Susie, she's really giving me the emotions. Everybody thought I was crazy, but I was still here. I was still here. Nobody could hear how bad I needed help. I'm still here. But it's like he was always one step ahead of me. Is what I kind of feel like she's saying, oh my God, Susie, this is sad. I don't think you could write it to the level of sadness that I feel for her right now. Because all she got was pity out of people's eyes, and that James was always one step ahead of her. And they could see the condition that she's in, but she has no use of her arm. So she's trying to clean herself. She's trying to groom herself. And the only one who could hear me was Henderson. And I feel John, but even John began to he was always could swing both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson was her only son that stayed with her. It is so, I mean, that is so intense, Susie. These are not my emotions because I promise you I have no reason to cry today. It's okay, Hester. It's all right. I need to feel it, so I have to be able to show it to the writer. It's okay. She gave me a hug and she goes, I didn't mean to make you cry. It's okay. I want to feel your emotions. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. My lack of ability to get myself properly groomed reinforced
Yep.
James's picture of me.
Right. Well, and
And even my own parents. And she goes, I promise I was not crazy. I did not deserve this. And she's like, I did not deserve this. She knows she didn't deserve this.
yeah, that's true. Yes. She did not.
But some people, she would say, she knew other people who were not treated well, but they always felt bad, like they did something wrong. And she said, I don't know what I would have done. She saw him for who he was. She knew him well. Man, that was some intense sadness. Intense. When you feel completely unheard by everybody. And there's no one. And everybody looks at you with pity or fear. And that's the worst part. What she's showing me is that when her children were little, they feared the crazy old woman in the woods, is what I hear. The crazy old woman in the woods. I feel like her parents' cabin that she went to live with, house, whatever. I feel like it started out as a cabin, but they kept building on and layering upon top of it. Um, I feel like it's surrounded by trees. It was very peaceful. Where you think of most farms are sort of out in the middle. This was not the case. They kept their trees because they knew it would keep their sleeping quarters cool at night in the summer months, and also help them. It's all right, you come in.
We use to clean the floor in here.
Um, once I get done vacuuming the Swiffer, It's in the closet.
Get all the tracks off.
Yeah. So she's upset because her younger children feared her.
Mhm.
And she kept saying, she keeps going to Amelia, Amelia, Amelia. Amelia tried to make connections for her to her own peril. She knows that he tried to kill her. She knows it. And she has guilt about that because she was so desperate for her own children that she would do anything, go to any lengths to see her children. And when James found out, he nearly killed her. And she says he would have killed her if she hadn't got away. And I feel like when Amelia left, she left a child behind. Did she have a child with him? Is there a child between he and Amelia?
Then, because Job was born, I've never figured out exactly which one of them was Job's mother. But
'Cause I feel like she had to, it was, if she didn't leave, she was going to die that night. The only reason she survived is her escape, but she couldn't go in and get the children. She had to leave her child behind. I don't think that soul has crossed over. She is still pining for the child. I don't think that her and her child ever reconnected. Dad says a goddamn brick. Dad's trying to make me laugh.
what was it he said?
He's a goddamn prick.
Mm-hmm. So, I wonder if Job was aware that Amelia was his mother.
Anderson Brown. Was Amelia your stepmother for a time? Was she the mother of Job? Okay, yes. And was Job aware that Amelia was his mother? No.
He was not. So James P. didn't give Job the story that your mother just ran off and left you.
Apparently not. I sort of get you talk about Amelia at your peril. That's what I heard. You talk about Amelia at your peril. We don't bring up Amelia. Amelia is not discussed.
How long was she in that household?
How long was Amelia in your household, Henderson? Can you tell me? Was it longer than 5 years? Was Amelia part of your household longer than 5 years? Was Amelia part of your household longer than 4 years? So between 4 to 5 years.
So that her departure had to have been difficult on all the children.
Quite. And ordered not to discuss it. That tells me there were eyewitnesses. Yeah, I think some of the kids saw it, Susie. And I think they knew the measure of his ability to inflict pain. That if he said you don't talk about it, you didn't talk about it.
So to some extent, they were afraid of him.
Yes. She grieved for Amelia. She grieved for herself because she knew that was the last tether she had to her children. That James would not make that mistake again, no matter how drunk he got. Okay, so I now understand why took me to the level of heartache and pain, that absolute squeezing of the heart, because it contrasts so strongly when she first met James P. It was just like I can't even catch my breath. It was just so magical, so beautiful, so everything that she'd ever dreamed of,
Mhm.
or ever hoped for.
Well, that's because he was good at what he did.
He was very good at what he did.
This is a star. They feed you exactly what you want to eat.
Alcoholic, abusive. And again, it's just it just got worse over time.
I'm sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I'm so glad you found me.
Hmm.
Are there any descendants of Elizabeth that we could reach out to?
They ended up in, let me think. She and her second husband ended up in,
Washington State?
no, Kansas or Missouri. Let me look. Um, oops,
If we could find some descendants of hers, there might be a story about.
maybe. Let me come here.
Oh, that just really drained me, Susie.
See, Elizabeth's the one that married Francis Welchel first. So there are Welchels that I think stayed around here. And then she married that Charles Snodgrass and they moved to Kansas. Charles Barnes Welchel. Who did he marry? I'm not sure. Okay. It's not,
Susie, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna drop. I
okay.
mean, that energy was so intense.
Well, go lay down.
I think I will. But I think we can start looking in the right place for her.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of what we're getting repeatedly. So. So that, cements it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go lay down.
Okey doke.
All right. Bye.
Hmm.